What a day that will be when my Jesus I
Hey
shall
everyone,
see.
welcome back. Ready to dive in with me again?
Always. What fascinating topic are we unearthing today?
Today, it's a deep dive into the parable of the sower. You know that story Jesus told about different reactions to the word of God?
Yes, a classic full of symbolism and layers of meaning.
Exactly. And we're going to peel back those layers, explore the symbolism, and see how it's still relevant even today.
It's intriguing. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, so the parable basically describes this sower scattering seeds. Simple enough, right? But the seeds land on different types of ground.
And that's where things get interesting. The ground is key here, isn't it? It's not about literal farming.
Right, it's a metaphor. The ground represents the human heart, and the seed, well, that's the word of God.
Yeah.
Or really any message, any truth that has the potential to change us.
It's about how we receive and respond to those things that could nourish our souls, lead us to growth.
Exactly. So let's break it down, shall we? Jesus himself explained what each type of ground symbolizes, starting with the path.
The path. Those are the folks who hear the word, but it's like their hearts are hardened. No way for the message to penetrate.
Yeah, it's like trying to plant a seed on concrete. It just sits there, doesn't it?
It does. And then there's the bird that swoops in and snatches the seed away.
Whoa, talk about a vivid image. Almost like the devil. Or even just those negative voices in our heads, right? Snatching away any chance for growth before it even begins.
Powerful imagery for sure. And then we move on to the rocky ground. A little different situation there.
Definitely. With the rocky ground, the seeds sprout up quickly.
Yeah.
But they don't have deep roots.
Right, no depth. Like someone who jumps on the latest trend, all gung-ho at first, but then...
Poof. The excitement fades, and they're on to the next thing. No staying power. Like a New Year's resolution abandoned by February.
Exactly. No deep roots, no resilience. They wilt the second any hardship or challenge pops up. Makes you think, how often do we give up on things that could really enrich our lives just because the going gets tough?
All the time, probably. But, okay, we've got two types of ground down. What about the thorny ground? This one always gets me thinking.
Oh, the thorny ground. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. These are the people who hear the word, but it gets choked out by all the other stuff. Worries, wealth, the pursuit of pleasure.
It's like those distractions and temptations that are constantly pulling us in a million different directions.
Yeah.
You know, they keep us so busy that we lose sight of what truly matters.
The thorns are those subtle but powerful forces that steal our time, energy, and attention.
It's like, oh, man, makes me wonder what my thorns are, you know, the things that are secretly sabotaging my own growth.
That's a question worth pondering. It leads us finally to the good soil, the ground where things actually work the way they're supposed to.
Yeah. Finally, some good news. The seeds take root, grow strong, and ultimately bear fruit.
This is where we see transformation. The people who not only hear the word, but they understand it, internalize it, live by it. It's about integrating the teachings, the message into the very fabric of your life.
It's like those seeds growing into strong plants, bearing fruit. And there's that detail about different levels of yield, right? 30-fold, 60-fold, even 100-fold.
Some people's faith, their growth, it blossoms in these big visible ways, while others, well, they might have a quieter, more subtle impact.
Like those whose lives inspire us without them even realizing it. It's not just about quantity, but the quality of the fruit we produce, the positive impact we have on the world around us.
Absolutely, but there's a key point Jesus emphasizes. It all comes down to the condition of the heart. God, or any source of inspiration, provides the seed, that potential for growth. But it's our receptivity, our willingness to cultivate that inner landscape that determines what happens.
It's like in one of the sources we've been looking at, it says, the success of the sowing depends not only on the quality of the seed, but also on how the human heart reacts to it. So true. And, you know, right after telling this parable, Jesus' disciples ask him point blank, why all the stories? Why teach in parables?
And his answer is so insightful. He says that parables, they reveal truth to those who are genuinely seeking it. But for those who aren't open, it remains hidden. Almost like the parable itself is a test of the soil, in a way.
Whoa, that's deep. Really makes you think. So that leads us to the big question for all of us listening. What kind of soil are you?
Yeah, think about it. If this parable is like a mirror, reflecting how we engage with truth, meaning anything that could transform us, where do we see ourselves in this story?
And even more importantly, knowing what we know now, how can we cultivate a more receptive heart? Because let's face it, the world today It's like a giant field of distractions, temptations, and challenges.
It is, and that's exactly what we're going to explore further as we continue our deep dive into the parable of the sower.
So we've uncovered these layers of meaning within the parable itself. But how do we actually apply this ancient wisdom to our modern lives? It's not like we're all out there scattering literal seeds.
Well, that's where the real power of this parable lies, in its symbolism. The seed can represent any idea, any truth, any spark of inspiration that has the potential to change us.
Yeah. Think about it like a piece of wisdom from a mentor, or maybe a creative idea that really ignites your passions, or even a call to action for a cause you deeply believe in.
Right, and the ground, it's not just about our religious beliefs, it's really about our mindset, our willingness to be open, you know, to really let those seeds take root and grow.
So it's about creating a space within ourselves where positive change can actually happen.
Exactly. It's about understanding that we have a choice. We're not just passive recipients of whatever life throws our way. We actually have the power to choose what takes root and flourishes within us.
Okay, but here's the thing. The world today, it's kind of like a giant field with all four types of ground mixed together. We've got distractions everywhere, information overload, and this constant pressure to achieve and succeed.
You're telling me it's so easy to feel like our metaphorical soil is constantly getting compacted or choked out.
By those thorns we were talking about.
Exactly. So we need to be super mindful of what we allow into our lives. And I'm not just talking about food. This is about the information we consume, the experiences we choose, even the relationships we cultivate.
So we have to be selective about what we allow to shape our thinking.
Absolutely. Are we surrounding ourselves with things that lift us up, that inspire us?
Or are we constantly bombarded by, negativity and drama? It's like being careful about our mental diet, isn't it?
It is. Choosing to focus on what truly nourishes us. Okay, so how do we actually do that? Because it's easy to talk about cultivating a receptive heart.
But in practice, it feels like this constant battle against those weeds of distraction.
Right. One practical step is to cultivate stillness. I know in our fast-paced world, it's easier said than done. We get swept up in the whirlwind of activity, never really pausing to reflect.
Oh, I'm totally guilty of that. My to-do list is a mile long.
Yeah.
But you're right. We rarely give ourselves permission to just stop, breathe, be present.
And that's where the magic happens. It's in those moments of quiet contemplation that we connect with our inner wisdom. We figure out what truly matters and allow those seeds to take root.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about those times when life throws us a curveball? You know, like when we face hardship or loss or disappointment.
That's when it's even more crucial to remember the message of the parable. Those tough times, they're like the heat that tests how deep our roots go.
It's like those trees that have to grow super deep roots to withstand strong winds, right?
Exactly. The stronger the roots, the more resilient the tree. And just like those trees need nourishment to grow, we need to nourish our inner selves, our minds and spirits.
So what are some ways to do that?
Things like prayer, meditation, spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, or even engaging in creative pursuits. These are the things that feed our souls and help us create that fertile inner landscape.
So we're not just sitting around waiting for the seeds to grow. We actually have to actively create the right conditions for growth.
Exactly. And be patient with the process.
Got it. So it's a lifelong journey of tending to that inner garden.
It is. It's about consistently examining our hearts, identifying those thorns that might be holding us back, and choosing to nurture those seeds that will truly bear fruit, not just in our own lives, but in the world around us.
You know, it's really amazing to think about all those different seeds we encounter throughout our lives, isn't it? Some, they take root, blossom into something amazing, and others, well, they just kind of fizzle out. But it really makes you realize that even small moments can change everything.
It's true. Those chance encounters, a piece of advice, a book that shifts our perspective. It's all about those seeds, and it highlights how even the smallest things can have a huge impact.
It really can. And the thing is, we can be sowers too, right? We can plant seeds in the lives of other people, maybe without even knowing it.
Absolutely. It's like when you toss a pebble into a pond, that ripple effect, those waves, they go way beyond that initial point of impact.
I like that. One small action can really make waves. And that's the beauty of the parable, isn't it? It's not just about me, myself, and I. It's about how we're all connected.
It really is. It's about recognizing that shared humanity, the ripple effect of what we do, good or bad. It's like we're all responsible for creating a better growing environment, both for ourselves and the world around us.
Okay, so before we get too carried away with all this metaphorical gardening, let's bring it back down to earth for our listeners. What can we do? Like starting today. How do we make our hearts more receptive? Become better sowers?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And I think it all starts with making conscious choices. Remember that thorny ground, all those distractions and temptations. Being mindful of what we let into our lives, that's crucial.
So it's not just what we eat or the news we read. It's how we spend our time, our energy, who we hang out with. It all matters.
It absolutely does. So we have to ask ourselves, is this thing, this person, this activity, is it feeding me, inspiring me?
Or is it draining my energy, bringing me down?
Exactly. We have to be honest with ourselves, make choices that line up with what we truly value.
And our aspirations, right?
Yes. But look, it's not about being perfect. None of us are. It's about recognizing that this is a journey. We're always growing, always evolving.
So being mindful is a big one. What else can we do to nurture those seeds? Make our inner ground more fertile.
Stillness. Remember we talked about that before. Making time each day for reflection, meditation, prayer, time in nature, or even just disconnecting from the constant noise of the digital world.
It's like giving ourselves permission to just be, to pause, breathe, and connect to that quiet space inside.
Yes. And that stillness, it's not just about relaxing or de-stressing. It's about creating space for those seeds of inspiration to really take root.
Okay, so mindful inputs, stillness, anything else?
Community. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, inspire you, challenge you to grow. Remember how the parable emphasizes community. It's about sharing those seeds and helping each other along the way.
It's like that saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Powerful stuff.
It is. The people we're around, they have a massive impact on how we think, what we believe, even how we act. So choose to be around people who are positive, who are growing, who are supportive.
And, don't underestimate the power of being that person for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the smallest things can make a huge difference.
So true. Just listening to someone, offering a kind word, doing something helpful, you never know what kind of seeds you might be planting.
I love that. So it's not just about receiving those seeds. It's about paying it forward, being a source of light for others.
That's it. And remember, growth, it's a process, not a destination. We're going to have those times when those seeds seem like they're not doing anything. The thorns of doubt and distraction, they're going to try and choke out our progress.
They always do. But the key is, don't give up.
Exactly. Keep tending that soil, keep nurturing those seeds, and trust that in time, they will bear fruit. It's like having faith in that natural process of growth.
Even when we can't see it, something beautiful is happening beneath the surface. I love that. This whole deep dive has been so insightful. The parable of the sower, it really is a timeless story. So much wisdom packed in there.
It is. And, the most fertile ground, it's often the one that's been cultivated with intention, care, and a deep understanding of how everything is connected.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on this journey, everyone. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, keep nurturing those seeds within yourselves, and keep spreading kindness and inspiration wherever you go.
What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day that will be. In the second person, there'll be no sorrows there, no more burdens to bear, no more sickness and no more pain, no more parting over there. But forever I will be with the one who died for me. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be when my Jesus I shall see. When I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. But when he takes me by the hand, takes me by the hand, and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day that will be. Oh, what a day that will be when my Jesus shall see when I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. But when he takes me by the hand, and leads me through the promised land, what a day, glorious day that will be. Jesus I shall see when I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. But when he takes me by the hand, he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land, what a day, glorious day that will be.